The workforce management market grew by 7.7% in the past year, but with this growth comes many challenges. In our latest benchmark report, we surveyed over 130 workforce management professionals, and most said that workforce planning is becoming more complex and unpredictable. This impacts business performance, customer satisfaction, and even employee engagement. Today, we'll dive into the biggest challenges they face and the solutions that can help businesses stay ahead. I'm Isabel, Marketing Manager at Peopleware, and with me today is Scott from the Customer Success team. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Isabel. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. Let's get right into it. Our first topic is on forecasting, which remains a critical yet challenging WFM function. In our latest benchmark report, over 61% of respondents actually said that their biggest struggle is dealing with complex and unpredictable customer demand. So, Scott, based on the report's findings, what's driving this challenge, and why do so many people struggle with this?
There's kind of three areas that I think can cause the unpredictable forecasting. And firstly, I would say it's really important to have the data connection. It's really important to make sure you've got the latest data for forecasting. So when you're looking at data that isn't been updated for the last month or 2 months, then obviously that's going to have a big impact on the forecast.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And what do you think about the uncertainty and volatile volumes when people deal with forecasting?
One thing that a lot of people kind of miss out on is normalizing their data. So what I mean by that is when you have these large unpredictable curves, is just normalizing them and making it more smooth. So you basically factoring that out, and it hopefully when you have the volatile volumes in the future, that would help, as well as having the latest data in there. Lastly, I would say revisit your forecast. So I touched on it slightly. And what I mean by that is when you create your forecast, it's quite easy just to do long-term or mid-term forecasts. So, for example, when you generated your schedules 4 weeks ago, you may have used the forecast for then. So when you're getting more data that comes through from your integrations that you have with your platform, is just, again, look at your forecast. Is there anything I need to factor in that's happened in the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And in addition to that, what are some other things that organizations can actually consider to make their forecasting more efficient?
So to be more efficient, I would say is automation.
Yeah.
Okay. Automation is key and also makes it less stressful for you on a day, rather than having to manually do things and factor things in. And having the latest in machine learning, I would say, is really important. Another factor that we recommend you to use is obviously looking at your events. And what I mean by that is, for example, you had Black Friday last year, a big sales event, a big influx of calls, is tagging when Black Friday was last year and then tagging it when it is going to be this year, so it can use the data from last year when it's forecasting for the same period this year, which may be a different date.
I think that makes a lot of sense, that forecasting isn't just about having past data, but having the right data, the right tools, and also the ability to adjust quickly. And also by considering automation and real-time adjustments, companies can really take control of uncertainty and improve forecast accuracy, which really makes everything run much smoother. Another big challenge I see here is actually on scheduling. So specifically, there's a lot of discussion around how to balance complex shift patterns while keeping employees happy and engaged. So what I see here is that 35% of respondents actually face resistance to schedule optimization from agents, team leaders, and even management. So what do you think is driving this?
There's a few things that you need to factor in when looking at optimization. One of the large ones is contractual terms or commitments that you already have with your employees. So you may have a lot of people that aren't or don't have the flexibility that you would like to use with full optimization. A way around that is obviously there are other options that you can optimize. You can optimize their activities, you can optimize when their breaks and lunches are, and also you've got the optimization of ad hoc things such as meetings or anything else that you would like to optimize.
So beyond contractual terms, how can organizations actually improve employee buy-in?
Yeah, I think one of the big pieces that you'd have to do is education around how optimization works. Agents don't want to be starting shift at 8 a.m. one day and 1 p.m. the next. There are a lot of options that you can do during optimization to get buy-in as well, and educate them on those available options is really important to get the buy-in. So for example, you may be able to say, well, how about we can guarantee you'll only have an hour flexibility between your start times between each day, or you could do you have 3 weeks of earlies and 1 week of late. So there's many options in which you can do in order to get buy-in rather than having complete full flexibility.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. When organizations actually understand how optimization works and that it benefits both the business and the employees, it's just much easier to get buy-in. So on that point, the last challenge I actually want to touch on is on employee engagement. So our report found that 80% of respondents believe WFM has a high impact on engagement. But despite that, nearly 30% of agents feel only slightly empowered or not empowered at all. So Scott, we know employee engagement is critical for business success, yet so many struggle with it. Why is that?
Great question. Agents want to feel empowered and have the autonomy and flexibility of when they're working and who they're working with, and trying to make it work with their personal lives and their working lives, and having the option to make changes when those are needed. Some of the things that you should think about when empowering your agents is how do you make it easier. One of the things that you can do is around vacations or annual leave. For example, they've seen a great holiday at the weekend with their friends, and they want to be able to go on their device, select what holiday they would like, and put the request in straight away, rather than waiting on Monday morning for the team leader to come in at 9 a.m. and see if they can have that holiday or not. And by that time, the holiday's already increased in price. Another thing that you should consider is obviously giving agents the flexibility to choose when they're going to be working. So if they're scheduled to work at 9 o'clock a.m. on Monday morning, and they've got an important appointment that they now need to attend, give them the option to shift swap. So they can put the request in on their device. Would anyone be willing to do a 9 a.m. shift? And I would do their 11 a.m., for example.
Great insight, Scott. You're absolutely right. I think that employee engagement isn't just about offering flexible schedules. It's about giving employees real control over their work-life balance.
Exactly. When business provide self-service options to agents, it helps them feel empowered and more involved in their scheduling.
Right, Scott. So we've covered some of the biggest workforce management challenges, from forecasting to scheduling to employee engagement. So it's clear that while these challenges are complex, the right strategies and technologies can make a huge difference. Thanks so much for joining me today and sharing all these great insights.
Thanks for having me.